Over the past few months, there's been a noticeable shift in how people talk about Sydney Sweeney. A specific kind of reaction. You'll see comments calling her overrated, attention-seeking, and right underneath those comments, you'll see men defending her, saying women are just jealous. But when the same women who hate Sydney Sweeney admire other women who are just as beautiful, it raises a different question. What are people actually reacting to?
What's up, guys? This is Tony Scardino and this is Free Will. I want to talk about Sydney Sweeney because I don't think the Sydney Sweeney conversation is actually about Sydney Sweeney. I think it's about projection. This is a really unique example to show how projection works in society, and I totally believe that both men and women will have a different perspective after watching this. Before we even talk about Sydney Sweeney, we have to talk about the show Euphoria. Because the show Euphoria isn't just another teen drama. The reason that show hit people so hard is because it took real pain and it made it cinematic. It takes trauma and shows it in a very disturbing but beautiful way. It took things that people usually hide, insecurity, addiction, sexuality, betrayal, family wounds, obsession, shame, and it made them feel like art. So when people watch Euphoria, they're not just watching characters on a show. They were watching parts of themselves, or parts of people who hurt them. And that's where Cassie becomes important. Cassie, the character played by Sydney Sweeney. Cassie isn't just a character. Cassie is an archetype. She's the girl who is deeply insecure but still beautiful. The girl that wants to be chosen so badly that she will betray another woman just to feel chosen. And I think that's exactly where the emotion comes from. Because most women know that girl. Some women have been that girl. Some women have been hurt by that girl. Some had the exact same scenario of their best friend doing that to them in high school. Every woman has encountered a woman who will smile right in their face and then flirt with their boyfriend. And that type of woman creates a very specific wound. It's not just jealousy, it's betrayal. It's the feeling of thinking your friend is safe, but in reality, they were competing with you the entire time. And that's why Cassie triggered so many people. It's not because she's pretty, because Maddie is beautiful. Maddie is desired, she's confident. Maddie is the girl that everybody notices when she walks into the room. And women love Maddie. So when men say, oh, women only hate Sydney Sweeney because they're jealous, that argument falls apart immediately. Women wouldn't love Alexa Demi. They wouldn't call her iconic. So clearly it's not about beauty, it's about energy. It's about what that person represents. Maddie represents power, Cassie represents insecurity. Maddie represents self-possession. Cassie represents self-abandonment. Maddie gets betrayed, Cassie does the betraying. Deep awareness can start when you realize that you could have been both at some point. And even though both characters are beautiful, women respond to them completely differently. The issue is the archetype. And this is where Sydney Sweeney gets caught in the middle. Because Sydney Sweeney played Cassie so well that people emotionally fused her to that character. And that's actually kind of proof that she's not that bad of an actress.
You weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, God! You heard him, he was going to call the police. And all judge me if you want, but I do not care. I have never, ever been happier. Understanding is I am crazier.
It's blackmail!
I don't care, it doesn't change anything. I can't say it to her, but you two can say it to me. This isn't fair, it's everything.
I think every person that Euphoria picked to be in that show played their role to the T perfectly. People then say Sydney Sweeney is just playing herself. But maybe the real reason people say that is because she made Cassie feel so real that they can't separate the two anymore. And that is what happens when performance hits the subconscious. And this is just one small example of all of the performances we see in Hollywood and the media, in politics, etc. The face becomes attached to the feeling. So when people are seeing Sydney Sweeney outside of the show, they're not seeing Sydney Sweeney. They are seeing the girl who betrayed Maddie and who needed Nate to choose her. And then Sydney's real life image adds a layer because her public branding leans into sexuality. The ads, the campaigns, the way people talk about her body, the roles she takes, the way the internet is framing her. It all keeps reinforcing this image of this desired blonde girl who is constantly being looked at through the male gaze. She totally can, she has a free will. I'm sure her team saw that it works. She could be completely different in real life, or she could not be. But we do know that we've seen this exact formula work over and over again. So many women in Hollywood. It's a proven model. But with that, we have to be honest about how branding works. If you play the character known for male validation, and then your public image also gets filtered through by male desire, people are gonna start connecting those dots. And that's where the Sydney Sweeney hate starts becoming bigger than Sydney Sweeney. Because to some men, Sydney Sweeney represents the woman that they desire and want to defend. And to some women, Sydney Sweeney represents the woman that has hurt them before. And to the internet, Sydney Sweeney becomes less of a person and more of a projection. Everyone is placing their own experience onto her. Men are projecting desire, women are projecting betrayal, the media is projecting sexual appeal, and Hollywood is projecting marketability. The women are upset about a pattern, and I totally think that's the part that men often miss. A lot of women are not reacting from jealousy. They're reacting from memory. They remember the friend who secretly wanted their boyfriend. They remember being loyal to women who were secretly competing with them. So when they see Cassie, and then they see Sydney's image continue to play this role, something inside knows that energy. It's in the subconscious and it's in recognition. There's a difference between analyzing someone's public image and dehumanizing them. The internet loves to turn people into symbols and then punishing them for what they symbolize. Alexa is not Maddie, Zendaya is not Rue. These are all actors. But the reason why people are blurring those lines is because the storytelling is powerful. A good story doesn't just entertain you, it can imprint on you. And sometimes when an actor keeps showing up in the public with a similar image to that character, it's gonna continue to imprint. This isn't just celebrity gossip, this is psychology. This is a way to show how women relate to each other and how men can misunderstand the female social pain. Women love beautiful women all the time. They love women who feel powerful. They love women who feel authentic and self-possessed. What women tend to reject is the energy of self-abandonment for male approval, because women know how destructive that can be. They've seen it, they've lived it, they've lost friendships over it, they've watched women become smaller for men. So when people ask, why does everyone hate Sydney Sweeney? I think the real answer is they don't. That's what projection is. It's when you take your own pains and your own insecurities and you project it into the outer world. Projection is when you stop seeing that there's a person in front of you and you start seeing your own wound. Sydney Sweeney became the face of a wound that a lot of women have. I'm gonna end it off there. I hope this brought a different perspective, and I hope this helps both genders recognize these subconscious beliefs that we may have, and it can flourish and grow into something positive. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. And to tie all of this into free will has a layer of it where you have to observe reality to come to your own conclusions of recognizing truth to that reality. Because recognizing perspective could change the world. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the week. You can find me on all platforms at freeingtoni. This is Toni Scardino. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys next time.